It is the biggest flare-up between the two nuclear powers in almost 50 years. Overnight, Indian fighter jets crossed into Pakistani airspace, believed to be the first time that's happened since the two sides fought a war in 1971 over the Kashmir border region. Both countries co-administer parts of it, disputed since the end of the British Empire. India claims the strikes killed hundreds of militants. Pakistan says there were no casualties. Tensions have been rising since a militant bomb attack on a bus killed 40 Indian troops in Kashmir earlier this month. India blamed Pakistan for the bombing, but the Pakistani government said it had nothing to do with the attack and issued a warning against India on television.
The region or anywhere else even think about the fact they can harm my country. We are a people protected by our armed forces, and we know how to protect our nation. We don't have any bad intention to any other country. But we know how to defend ourselves, ladies and gentlemen, and we will insist. Thank you very much.
Our correspondent in New Delhi, Soni Falnikar, spoke with Professor Hapiman Jacob, a specialist in India's foreign policy. She began by asking him how significant today's strikes in Pakistani Kashmir are.
If it indeed has been carried out in the KP province of Pakistan, now this is probably the first time since 1971 that India has gone into mainland Pakistan, and this is really pathbreaking in many ways. This clearly sort of a two-notch higher than the 2016 surgical strikes. The 2016 surgical strikes was clearly punitive in nature. The MEA, the Ministry of External Affairs, called this morning's strike as preemptive and not necessarily punitive. So by sort of calling it preemptive, sort of gone one notch higher, and by carrying this out in mainland Pakistan, we've gone one more step further. So you're looking at an unprecedented military strike against Pakistan this morning by India. So I think at this point of time all bets are off. One doesn't really know what would be the implications of this for India-Pakistan relations, as it were.
And given that you're saying this has never really happened before, this is the first time since 1971, what do you think is the potential here for really escalation of this conflict between we have to remember, two nuclear-armed neighbors?
You know, this actually lands Pakistan in a sort of catch-22 situation. If Pakistan does indeed retaliate at this point of time, the Indians are prepared. Clearly, they have their airborne surveillance systems in place. They have their strike aircraft. They have their air defense systems in place. So the Indians, since they have the first mover advantage, they are really prepared for a counter-strike by the Pakistanis. So that would be very costly for the Pakistani side. But if it indeed does not strike back at the Indians after sustaining a strike in its heartland, it's going to be a problem for Pakistan in many ways. One, it sort of in many ways calls the Pakistani nuclear bluff, as it were. So far there has been an assumption that if India carries out a strike against Pakistan anywhere else other than say in POK, it would lead to a sort of confrontation at a nuclear level. If Pakistan does not strike back, that bluff gets called. More importantly, this also in many ways shows Pakistan in a very militarily inferior sort of light. So I think there would be a temptation in Pakistan at this point of time to retaliate.